You've raised a very important question that we're possibly stuck in different realities in different worlds. Uh, Maybe our students are ready at some level to jump into the industry programs because that's where they were the natives of. Is the university ready? We have questions on it. And I think that is why universities like ours, like the Skill and Entrepreneurship University, become relevant, or an applied science university becomes relevant, because in a way that's where we're asking the question, what is the use of teaching something or imparting the student something that possibly was relevant 12 years ago or 15 years ago? And maybe that's even a very long. However, I think while this is easy to say, to manage it with the current faculty resources who possibly have kind of fossilized or kind of stayed where they are is a big challenge for any university. It's not just my university or not any university, it's any university. Because at the end of the day, the incentives for the faculty are not aligned to learning and doing something interesting, meaningful, what happens in the industry. But for the student, there is no hope. I think the Future of Work report shows that more than 80,000 roles that exist today will possibly disappear in the next 5 to 7 years. And I don't even know what those 80,000 roles are. And therefore, how am I going to, train the student to think about that becomes a question. So I think the answer is, and that's what we're trying to attempt to look at, is maybe the answer is not to teach state-of-art technology. I think the answer is to teach, as was being said in the previous panel as well, it is learning to learn, to problem solve, to remain agile, to be flexible, to identify a problem and to approach everything as a, how can I solve this problem? I think as long as we are able to inculcate that in the students, or at least keep it alive, I think it's already there, it is still. If we can keep their curiosity and their agility and their interests alive in college, I think we would be doing a service. So I think we have a very difficult challenge that we are delivering.
You well defined it. Yes, this is what we were talking since morning, the talent cultivation, the adaptability, the flexibility, what the Siva Kumar mentioned, and this is what we are looking for. Professor Raina, you started your career with the core physics. You were the man of the liquid crystal, and today you are talking something about the artificial intelligence in your campus as a vice chancellor. How this journey makes you to be say that are we still 21st century institution, or you are looking something beyond that, as you know this journey well? Please.
Thank you, Dr. Manna, and I appreciate IC for asking us to be in this panel. This panel is really very, very eminent. You have the blend of people who talk about industry, people talk about government systems, and I want who has the experience of around more than 35 years now to be a part of the academia. I would say the journey of academia has always been an evolution, and India is privy to many such changes that have happened over the years. From learning what Dr. Manna said, the liquid crystal, and today you have the panels from flat panel displays going from LCD to OLEDs, the high production displays. I have been witness to many such changes as a student, a person who has worked with corporate and tried to give certain concepts in commercialization to Dr. Manna. The journey has been fantastic, and if I look at my current journey and the current role at MS Ramaya University of Applied Sciences in Bangalore, you will rarely find universities by the name Applied Sciences. I think if you do a search in the Google G, that where is it, you will find exceptions. That makes me and takes me to a point that we have a technology campus in Bangalore, which used to be one of the Asia's hub of industrialization. That is PDM. and our main campus is just adjoining the Institute of Science. So connecting science to the applied aspect of that has been the thought process behind the promoters when they thought about it. Dr. Mana and the team members, we are changing and we have to change. India Vishwaguru is undoubtedly a great thought and a great concept, but if I don't look for the future, I think I will be always bowed down by Vishwaguru and Vishwaguru. We need to set the timelines. When we say I for IC, I put it like this, I for Industry Connect. That is the application I was looking at when I was looking at the blackboard. If I don't look at the Industry Connect today, I think I'm not giving best to the students. We always felt that students learn from us, but Industry 4.0 and Education 4.0 are synonymous. It is student-centric. I have also learned from students. In that context, academia, industry, corporate, whether we talk about the digital world or the industry as such, I put industry not only bifurcated the industry, I think there has to be synergy to be evolved in designing and developing curriculum, not only for the industry's sake, for engineers. Today, industry needs much more manpower in social science and liberal arts than they need only from the industry perspective as well. This embedding the system, challenging them together, is where the education thought leaders have to sit, discuss and deliberate. At our university, we have already taken initiatives because Karnataka in this country is the first state which have approved the implementation of the new education policy. We at Ramaya University have already started it from 2021. And this year, the last week was deliberations. Across the programs, we are implementing. And I would like to inform the all audience here, a larger portion of the curriculum is now industry-centric, not only go to the industry, but better hands-on learning. And in this direction, we have also opened opportunities for industry, corporate people to become a part of learning system in the universities. So laboratory of the song, the Prayogshala, has not only been industry, it has been academia too. This synergizing industry and academia, I see as the future of our nation. And we should not look only at India. I think as a global community, we have great challenges, I am sure. We, at the cusp of making a change happen, we are there. And last week, at Varanasi, we had a Mahakumbh, 3 days discussion deliberation. In my memory, it is for the first time I have seen the Union Education Minister and the Governor of the state being there for all 3 days discussing and deliberating the impact of education and that too for the future generations. I see a great hope, a great scope, great opportunities, great challenges, but I think it is we for to make it a great happen. Thank you, Dr. Mana.
Well summation from the Silicon Valley of country India. When you are saying this, it is going to be implementable to the tier 2, tier 3 level. I just going to make this session the last question throwing to all of you and expecting a very honest reply on this because you all are heading these institutions not only to the one level, to the different level of my country as well as abroad. Professor Bansal, when we started our career as a teacher, we learned something in our education and we reached to our campus. There was a very big difference. I learned GW Basic, I was teaching a Pascal. But to the moment any student is coming out, by the time he becomes a professor or a teacher, he has to go through with the transformation through the masters and PhD. Earlier it was not the scenario. Do you expect the same faculty deliver to the today's aspiring minds what exactly they are looking for Industry 4.0 or edutech companies can complement to the institutions or vice versa? Very honest answer, I know.
I've been very honest, I always said so. That faculty most of the time is not fully geared up or prepared because what they study, those books which are yesterday's books. They may have done a lot of additional learning with them, but they are not prepared for the future. You know, when we talk to the teachers and they tell us that what we taught in engineering now is also being taught in 8th or 9th class in the schools. Okay, so there's a big change, and the only way is for every small thing we should not be depending upon the faculty. Okay, faculty at times becomes insecure. I have been telling them, be very honest. You say that I can't do it. Get a person from industry to do it. It could be 10-hour module, it could be full course. You also sit along with the students study. Because faculty has to groom itself and we have to fill this gap of learning, and the learning gap can only filled by the industry, by the specialists. We are specialists of every group, every age, and now since online learning has become so very convenient, people are not used to this kind of a learning. We always have lot of online experts who fill up this gap. That's the only way to move forward. We have to be very straight, we have to be very honest, otherwise we'll keep on giving education which is yesterday's. And Dr. Madam, this is not happening only in our country. My colleagues will agree with me because I had a lot of interaction recently with the British universities and with US, Australian, Canadian universities. Faculty there is also yesterday's faculty. So I would not like to say more than that.
Thank you, sir. Very, very well said. And quickly, sir, I need your response because you have the very huge experience for
I
this.
have to be honest enough.
Yes, precisely.
Also, the word of learning is changing. No longer a teacher can say that I am here to teach you. You have to go to the class and say, I am here to learn with you.
Yes.
And he must learn together with his students. Way back in almost 10 years ago, when I said this in Delhi Technological University, the teachers must learn together with the students. सारे टीचर मेरे से लड़ने आ गए, कहते हैं जी लोग क्या जमाना आया है, हमें स्टूडेंट से सीखना पड़ेगा, हम उनको पढ़ाने के लिए आए. I said, look, the times ahead will teach you that unless you learn together with your students and treat students also as teachers. In fact, even as a vice chancellor, many times I find that the students teach me. I brought with me a young man sitting in front of me, Simas Tiwari. Tiwari was in first year of BSc and he was talking like more than a PhD scholar. I learned a lot from him about environmental science and the new technology that are required. Yesterday in my office, he along with the professors of IIT, we were discussing how to apply artificial intelligence and machine learning to a whole lot of data that we are monitoring in our city of Delhi and NCR and translate that data into a new knowledge by which we would be able to predict ahead in advance what's going to happen in Delhi, say on 15th of August and so on, in terms of pollution. So this is where I think the learning together, that's first one. The second honest answer is that whether you know it or not, I want to keep the skill gap with the industry open. It's written here, closing the skill gap. I really do not want to close the skill gap, otherwise we will go back to what it was in 1960s and 70s. I want to keep this skill gap open because universities are supposed to be the places from where the lifeline of the industry is to be drawn in terms of new technology, in terms of new knowledge, in terms of new skills that we create to create the better tomorrow. And therefore this skill gap needs to be enhanced in my opinion by university, industry and the younger mind working together, creating futuristic technology so that the future of work can be transformed. Let me finish by saying that I am in a position of advantage. I wrote a paper on India's third industrial revolution. Now you are already in industry 4.0. So I said, all right, if you don't talk about third industrial revolution, I would rather focus on Indian university education 5.0. Because to serve the cause of 4.0, I need to be ahead of the industry in terms of putting together my whole agenda of education, research and innovation to think of industry 5.0 to serve the industry 4.0 today and 5.0 of tomorrow. That's why I talked about technology of conscience and the new layers which we need to create. So I think we are in a good position. Let me also say and submit to you honestly, there is no skill in the world today that can be called a generic skill. Every single skill which you require today to drive the agenda of the industry of today and that of tomorrow, in my opinion, is knowledge-based and knowledge-intensive, technology-integrated skill. And therefore, in our whole idea of skill development has to change now. If we have to create India of our dream, we must acknowledge that the entire effort that we invest in ITI, Polytechnic, or even in Skill Development Institute or university. It's here the knowledge and skill.
Yes, sir.
We pursue
Absolutely. So
with the research
today's
agencies
institutions
and
for the
innovative
tomorrow's industry, this is what he wants to say. The today's institution should be teach what the tomorrow's industries need. So education 5.0 should align to the 4.0, not for this. Because that screen is not allowing me to be, because sir is the most senior, he taken your